Welcome back to the Global Business Report here in Arise News. The Lagos State Special Offences Court in Ikeja has ordered the forfeiture of 6.3 billion units of ordinary shares of Keystone Bank Limited, valued about £1 each, to the federal government. Justice Hakeem Oshode gave the order after Sigma Golf Nigeria LTD, represented by its chair, Umaru Hamidu Mobido, pleaded guilty to the fraudulent conversion of 20 billion naira belonging to the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria. That's their funds. The company was arraigned alongside a former managing director of Amcon, Ahmed Kuru. There's been a lot of talk about the safety of funds in the bank, and who better than Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu to calm the waters. Chika, good morning to you. Welcome.
Each time I look at this, your hair, you know, maybe it's a precursor to your next
birthday. Yeah, exactly. On the weekend.
We're going to have a blast.
Of course. You know, you have special invites.
We're not on this program to do legal jingles and stuff like that. You know, but for the stakeholders of Keystone Bank, this was a very important, resolution for them. It's always important for the ownership of a bank not to be foggy and uncertain, especially in this period where a lot of banks are racing towards March 31st, 2026 for the recapitalization. It creates uncertainties when the ownership is very foggy. And so the conclusion of this case was very important for the bank. And then the other aspect of it is I can understand why the bank had to push out this release. You know, I told you severally that because of the I don't want to be aggressive and say the low level of trust or confidence in the banking industry, especially with what happened to Heritage Bank, where a lot of people lost money. Any news that is out there that's not sounding very positive or is very foggy, a lot of banks, a lot of stakeholders or customers tend to get worried. I mean, I told you, when some prophets, got revelation that some banks in Nigeria are going to collapse in 2025, I mean, I don't know where they got that. I mean, a lot of people are calling me from diaspora to ask me, should we move our money? Are these people safe? You know, even when one of the top 5 banks was having issues, corporate governance issues and shareholder issues, they also called me, should we move our money and whatever. So for the bank, this is very important to provide this clarity that this is everything's okay now. And you do recall also that this Keystone Bank was mentioned in a story that I wanted to do last week, but it was taken by some live programs that had to do with the name being mentioned in merger with another bank in Nigeria, which of course at the executive level of the both banks they said no, that was not happening. So, but with this uncertainty out of the way, the road is clear now seamlessly for the bank to move towards the recapitalization program. I'm a Keystone Bank, for whatever is worth. I mean, we know the Central Bank has come regularly and said the banking system is very solid, and all those who have the license now are running very well. Keystone Bank particularly, more than 103 fiscal locations in Nigeria, in 36 states of the Federation, plus FCT. Footprint. ATMs, more than 400 around Nigeria. POS, more than 2,400, POS. Last year, they onboarded more than 500,000 customers, bringing the customer base to about 4 million customers. And the last rating was on B rating, stable, So, and on profitable basis, year on year, 2023-2024, they moved their gross earnings by more than 51%. And profit before tax by more than 100%. So on the parameters, they're healthy, they're positioned to move to the next level. And I believe that even you add the other pluses on the bank, very active in the social space. Building schools in about 12 states in the Federation last year, involved in a PAD initiative for the young girls of our country, and so many other programs. So Keystone Bank is positioned. Now, there's this thing, what I call the Oscar of the banking industry on service and KPMG every year conducts this exercise on the banking industry. And Keystone Bank was ranked 4th. Very 4th on the retail banking industry bank-wide. And then 5th on the SME banking industry. So on all parameters, they are positioned to continue to work on this journey towards recapitalization in on or before March 31st, 2026. Okay. Yeah. And then they carry a national franchise, national license. So the capital they should be chasing is about 200 billion. Recall that is when CBN came out, for that regional license for the commercial banks was 50 billion. Yeah. National license was 200 billion, and then international license is 500 billion capital. So I'm sure they're going to now work hard with rigor with their potential partners to make sure that this is done, having cleared this issue of who really owns the bank. Yeah. So Keystone Bank, the government picking now, the federal government picking. Yeah. Federal government picking me say, one child of our country. Right, right. So for the depositors, everybody should come down. For those who are potential investors, also should, they can go and knock on the doors and continue the discussions towards making sure that the bank gets recapitalized. So,
Chika, yesterday we talked oil and gas. Mm-hmm. I asked you when we talked about the upstream firm there, I asked you about your outlook for the oil and gas sector. So what about banking in Nigeria for 2025? How are you seeing things?
What's going to happen, as you're seeing it already, 2024 was an interesting year for the banking industry. Yeah. Remember that new word, windfall tax?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Windfall tax. Yeah. Now, but you see, it depends some people enjoy it, some people they pain. Yeah. If you're long on this thing, if you had a lot of dollar assets, you're going to make windfall tax. If you carry dollar liabilities, you're going to make losses. So that's how you balance out for the banks. But most of the banks made a lot of money from that. So everything is stabilization is stable now. Now, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is, of course, the digital space is that. Let me flow back there. Yeah. What's happening is now that CBN insisted, remember, that the capital coming in must be new capital. Right. That's why they said don't use retained earnings. Yeah. So a lot of banks are going to be flush with new capital. Okay. And so you will have that opportunity now with money to get in there and do the things you want to do digital banking. Yeah. I don't know, I've said it before, that the person who creates a right risk management framework that will break the issue of mortgage lending, break the issue of SME lending, really, we're just touching the surface now, will be the bank to beat. Right. So banks have to be braver to go to that, but you're going to have a lot of banks slush with more liquidity, and they're going to ask what they're going to do. I also see a lot of big ones foreign out of Nigeria to go and expand outside the country. That's threatening their subsidiaries or go out there to go and look for new acquisitions. But all in all, you remember we're chasing a $1 trillion economy, $1 trillion economy, and the banks are leading on that. As the economy is getting better, banks are going to make also flourish.
All right, business analyst Chika. We have to do aviation now. Since you've done oil and gas yesterday, banking today, we must find an aviation story for you tomorrow. Chika, I always appreciate your insights on this. Thank you. So everybody be calm. Keystone Bank is fine. We're good to go. Thank you, sir.